Good morning. We're going to be dealing with string theory today. People might have heard of string theory over the years. It's been one of these things that appears to explain everything, and on the other hand, it can explain nothing. So it's really a quandary dealing with it. But the reason why string theory arose was that we were dealing with infinities. And so, for example, if we took an electron had all this negative charge all the way right down to the middle of it. And why in the world wouldn't that electric charge just blow the electron up? Likes repel one another, opposites attract one another. So that's the obvious question that comes up here. And let's go back and take a look at what we can say about this. Here's a picture of an electron. You won't find this in any book anywhere. Ron Cowan did this. And so it shows an electron actually is encompassed in 10 strings. The strings are vibrating like crazy. He was able to stop them so he could make this drawing of what's going on here. And the body of the electron you should think of as rising out of energy that resonates inside the strings. So the energy is resonating. It's kind of like a jelly, and as it's resonating, you end up with the electron. But notice the electron has a hole through the middle. There's simply it's actually a torus, a donut here is what's going on. So that's what we end up with here, according to Ron Cowan. There were other people, Annie Besant and Charles Leadbeater, that ended up also observing this. The jargon that Annie Besant and Charles Leadbeater used, they decided to call these universal physical atoms, which is a name. In modern physics today, we call them subquarks. So in the hierarchy of matter that we're dealing with, we end up with matter being composed of atoms. The atoms have electrons and a nucleus with protons and neutrons. The protons and neutrons each have 3 quarks. Each of the 3 quarks has 3 subquarks. And that's how we end up with this picture here. Now, the thing to keep in mind is this is incredibly incomplete. If we go back here, we see we're just dealing with the things here in this 10-dimensional space for matter. We have dark matter over here, and it's unfortunate, but the dark matter exists with 5 strings, 5 closed strings, not like matter over here, which had 10 closed strings. And there's no charge over here. There's no electron. So you end up with something completely different here for dealing with dark matter. Now, if we go down here a bit, just going to go down. Here's what Leadbeater and Besant saw. This is around 1900. They did this through deep meditation, as did Ron Cowan. They would meditate, and they would, for example, focus on a button on their shirt and then dive into the button and go down, down, down to the atomic and subatomic scale. There was another chap named Babbitt who observed something similar to this. He probably wasn't as good an artist as Leadbeater and Besant, or as Ron Cowan was. But it shows that these ideas have been around for 100 years. The other thing to keep in mind here is, I'm just scrolling down here so you can see. I said that there are these 10 closed strings. If you look at the 10 closed strings for matter, you'll see there's another loop around it that goes with it. And if you look at this loop, you'll see there's a loop that goes around this, and on and on. It goes down 7 times. No idea why this is the case. And clearly it would set the grounds for coming up with some amazing theory. But that's the nature of these strings. Now the dark matter that we're dealing with here, you see, started off as these subquarks and then quickly grew into a fern, a great big bush, but it achieves sentience. Now, another thing to keep in mind dealing with string theory, go back up here, is these higher realms here, these 6 compactified Calabi-Yau manifolds. Sorry, three of them, each of which has 6 dimensions. And when we look at this, we see that there's probably energy beings there. We don't need to have these strings. We can just deal with the energy, and that's what's going on there. That this concludes what we're dealing with here today. I want to thank you for your time.